them, and they don't understand the process or what might be happening to them. And most things are in this category of someone is doing something to you. Well, in quantum, we don't look at things like that. We don't do things to people. Instead, we help people shift their own energies and shift themselves, which makes them feel more confident to handle their own problems. It also makes it easier for them to make a change because they're not scared of it, and they're in a place of growth. You see, if you look at it this way, if you have a practitioner that is going to heal you, what happens is that practitioner is at the place of effect. They're a victim if it doesn't work, because that client is not going to be thrilled if they go through all of what they got to go through, and then all of a sudden it didn't work. They might consider doing it a few times, but a few times of it not working, that's not going to thrill the customer. So what happens is the practitioner has put themselves at the effect or at victim of the situation. Now, when you have the practitioner at a victim perspective, the same thing happens. The client automatically becomes a victim of this process as well, because they want this to change and they want this to transform, but they might be scared of the process, and therefore they go into what's called fight or flight, which means that they're not in growth anymore, they're in protection. And so anybody could wave their magic wand or their hands or whatever it is that they're waving, and they don't change because both the practitioner and the client are at the effect of the situation. And so most people who are doing any kind of a healing process are, one of them, either the practitioner or the client or both, are in a situation where they're at the effect or a victim of the situation. If any one of them is in that place, nothing is going to shift. Nothing is going to change because nothing changes in protection, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton.
And authority.
Yeah, I mean, he's been sharing this information for years and years, and it is so on the money. It is so, it makes total sense. If you're in a place where you're out of your body, you're not connected, you're in a place of fear or anxiety or whatever the feeling is that's negative that you're feeling, it makes sense that you wouldn't change unless you go into a place where you can grow. I mean, I remember many years ago, I wanted to try this new process, and I noticed that I got a little bit concerned about, and I wasn't scared, but I was a little bit concerned because it was a new process and the person didn't explain too much to me, and I realized I am at the effect of this situation. Nothing is going to change, and that's exactly what happened. Nothing changed, but I wasn't even in a total fight or flight. I was just a little concerned. And it didn't work. So when you're totally in fight or flight, certainly nothing's going to work. So the first thing in quantum that we want to do is get people into a place where they are in growth, where their body is in a place where you can move forward, where they're not scared, and they're in a place where they know they can make a change. And then we get confident about it. And we get confident that once we make one or two changes, we get really excited because it's like, oh, I can change this and I can change that. And I see it all the time with clients. They'll come to me for the first session and they'll make a really huge change. And then all of a sudden, they will come back and they'll be like, here's my list. Okay, I guess that this works, but now here's my list. I want it all gone. And that's feedback. That lets you know something is working, something is helping, and they already have looked at all the things that they want to change, and they want to change it now.
So how does this work with manifestation? I mean, I can really see the connection between the exercise we did, and I really appreciate the growth of protection explanation. I've never heard that before, but it's so true as I think through my own life and the own challenges is that, fight or flight being a, protection mode. And in the exercise, I experienced that strength of a tree trunk. so to speak, and that put me back in the growth versus protection. How does that work with manifestation? How does all that get us to where we want to go, where I want to go to be more abundant?
I love that question because the key to manifestation is simple. It's not a difficult concept to understand, but if we don't allow ourselves to follow the concept, we can't manifest. So here's the bottom line. Our energy determines everything. Actually, things happen in your energy first before they happen physically to us, no matter what they are. In other words, your energy is always leading. So if you're feeling upset or disappointed or like a failure or whatever it is that we feel on a day-to-day basis, what's happening is we're living at the frequency of whatever we are thinking about, which usually is a low frequency. It's usually a frequency of fear or disappointment or somehow feeling not good enough or not able to move forward even. All of those frequencies are low frequencies. Now, manifestation requires a high frequency. You can't manifest unless you're at a frequency in which you become an attraction magnet. Unless you're at a high frequency, you can't attract. Nothing happens. Nothing changes. Nothing, whether it's, you can attract healing or transformation just as much as you can attract money. The ability to attract is no different. The key is that when we have an illness or a problem, what happens? Our energy frequency lowers because we feel we can't change it. And the same thing happens when we don't have money. When we don't have money, we feel, I don't have money, and then what happens? Then our energy frequency lowers. And then we're expecting some sort of magic wand to come by, and there it is. Money just falls in our lap. Well, it doesn't work at that energy level. It doesn't work at lower energy frequency levels. It only works at higher energy frequency levels. So when we raise our vibration so that our vibration is at the level of attracting money or at the level of attracting healing or transformation, that's when it all starts to change because we've put ourselves in a place where that's possible.
Is that why they say money attracts money?
Well, that's a good saying, isn't it? Because now it's not money attracts money; it's the energy of money attracts money. It's not that you actually have to have it actually in order to attract it. You want to have the energy of having money be your frequency, and then you'll be able to attract it whether you have money or not is irrelevant. Your body cannot tell, and your mind in your body cannot tell the difference between whether you actually experience something or think about something. So since it can't tell the difference, you don't actually have to have money to create money. You simply want to be in a place where you feel like you have it so that your energy frequency goes higher. And you're in the place where you get excited. And that's where change starts to happen, because when we're excited, our energy frequency goes higher. And now you've made something that seemed impossible shift instantly right there. So when we're standing and we're putting our attention at the base of our spine, right where that leaf is, then that's where the magic happens. When you're in your body, there's a few things that happen for manifestation. One is, you said it's like a tree trunk and we feel stronger. That's exactly it. Are you going to attract something more easily when you're stronger or weaker? I mean, it's really a simple answer, isn't it?
Yeah, very simple.
I don't even have to say that obviously it's stronger, right? So when we are feeling stronger, we're also emotionally stronger, aren't we? So physically stronger and emotionally stronger tend to come hand in hand. So when we're feeling stronger and we are emotionally and physically stronger, we're likely to be able to raise our energy frequency higher much more easily because of the perspective change. Most of us are in our head. Simply by being in your head in fast energy causes a lot of thoughts, usually negative ones. What do negative thoughts do? Well, they bring our energy frequency lower. The simple shift for this is to bring your attention lower in your body, like at the base of your spine or under your feet. When you do, you'll get stronger. Your energy frequency will raise. Your body will feel lighter. Your posture will change. You'll feel more alive. You'll feel more confident. All of these things lead to manifestation. Without these things, manifestation doesn't happen. And we all know that because we've all been in a place where we didn't manifest the things we wanted.
So I have to ask this question. Okay, so everyone's learning this law of attraction thing and similar techniques. Why is it then that people have a difficulty in getting results? Is it the whole energy thing?
Yes. The law of attraction is based on the understanding that you can make a change intellectually and create manifestation. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Now, Dr. Bruce Lipton has another concept where he says that 95% of the time we live unconsciously. What that means is 95% of the time you have no idea what you're doing. You're just running patterns. That leaves 5% of the time that you are in some way conscious. So if 95% of the time you're living unconsciously and you only have 5% of you moving you forward, you're really not moving forward very fast.
At all.
Or at all. So the key is that all of the law of attraction things that we've heard out there, and I know people mean well and they share some really fascinating information, but the bottom line is if you don't change what's happening unconsciously so that you're acting unconsciously 95% of the time in a manifestation mode, you're not going to manifest. Because you've got to work on the unconscious, not the conscious. And that's where the problem is. Now, a lot of people look at hypnosis as being an unconscious way to learn, and it is. But there's one downside to hypnosis, and that is hypnosis is typically performed when somebody is in their head, not in their body, as I've been teaching today. Now, the key is if you're in your head and you're in a trance, it is not at all the same as if you're in your body and you're in a trance. It's a totally different experience.
So true.
Yeah. So 95% of the time, if we are in a place where we have patterns that say you can't have money, you don't deserve money, and other things that we might not even know about. I mean, those are the common ones, right? But there are things we don't even know about that stop us from having money that maybe our parents taught us when we were children. And we don't feel that we can have money in some way. It might just be a feeling. It might not even have words. There are energies in our body that are just simply feelings that basically say you can't have something, and there's no why. It's the feeling that keeps you from it. So how do you get to those feelings? Well, that's what quantum is about. Quantum is about getting to the energies and information that was programmed by someone else. You know, most of the programming that we all have isn't our programming. It's our parents' programming. It's our babysitters' programming. It's our teachers' programming. We did not program ourselves. We were programmed, for the most part, by other people. And because we were programmed by them, whatever their beliefs, values, and attitudes were, have become ours many times without question. And so now we're in a place where, for example, maybe our parents didn't feel like they could make it or have money. Well, we have that now. And sometimes parents may even have money, but didn't teach or share with their kids how to attract it. So the kid is like, I don't know, my parents have money, but I don't. There's a lot of people in that situation as well. So we learn things based on what our parents have shared with us, both by speaking and by their behavior. And sometimes a parent's behavior will have us act a specific way